Thank you to the patrons for supporting the channel. Oh god, I look like the guy from No Country for Old Men. Alright, these last few videos have been patron voted, and that will continue, but this video I just needed to make. If you would like to have some say on what video I make next, consider joining my Patreon. So, what is this video about? Well, you probably know because of the title, it's about the world's first horror game. Now, many attribute this title to Resident Evil or Alone in the Dark, but this precedes all of that. And it also happens to be one of the first 3D first-person games, well before the age of Wolfenstein or Doom. "3D Monster Maze" was a game published in 1981 for the Sinclair ZX81 home computer. It ran off a whopping 16 kilobytes of memory. With ASCII visuals and stunning 6 frames per second, 3D Monster Maze featured no sound and for the time pretty good pseudo-3D graphics. The game was created by J.K. Gray and Malcolm Evans. The pair created games for the Sinclair systems, including 3D Defender, Catacombs, and Invasion. The premise of 3D Monster Maze is that you have been unleashed into a maze with a T-Rex and must survive as long as possible. This correlates directly to gameplay where the more steps you take, the higher your score. Gotta get my steps in! You wander through the empty halls, all the while this text below serves as a replacement for audio. Rex lies in wait. Footsteps approaching. Run, he is behind you. I have to say, despite being completely silent and relatively simple, there is something really effective about the way that run sends you into a panic. The reception of the game at the time was actually really good. It was considered one of the best, if not the best, games on the Sinclair system. But was it scary back then? Well, the term survival horror didn't really enter the gaming vocabulary until much later with the titles like Alone in the Dark and Resident Evil, so it wasn't really used to describe this game until 2006. But ask anybody who played it back in the day, and they'll tell you it legitimately terrified them.
The jet black skin, the blank eyes, the gaping hingeless jaw. If there's a hell for dinosaurs, this thing fought its way out of the main gate after a lifetime of pissing off whatever god was misguided enough to create it in the first place.
On a more personal note, I have to say, the one thing that, aside from being unsettled or creeped out, the one thing that really sends me into a panic in horror games is chase sequences, and that is all this game is, one long chase sequence. And even as a horror veteran who is playing the game many years after its graphics were considered revolutionary, seeing that run appear or seeing him come at me down an empty hallway, it still makes me jump or hurriedly mash the keyboard in a panicked frenzy. Another interesting thing about the game is that it is procedurally generated. Each maze is an 18 by 16 sector, which then has a portal that leads you to a new maze. And this wasn't the first game to have you running around from monsters in a maze. I mean, that trope goes all the way back to ancient folktales. But exploring the trope with this sort of Jurassic Park twist is really creative. And seeing this type of game all the way back then is really interesting considering all of these sort of newer versions of this same type of idea. SCP Containment Breach, Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, Vanish, and there's even another more obscure title that I swear has to be directly inspired by this, because if not, it's gotta be a huge coincidence. It's called 1916 Der Unbekannt Krieg. I don't know, I'm definitely not pronouncing that right, but it's a World War I horror game where you run through trenches from velociraptors, and it seems very similar in style and idea. Now, aside from the creepy atmosphere of the silence or the scary text at the bottom, there is one more thing. Rex himself. The design of this guy is insanely creepy. Many attribute the creepy black and white pixel creature to Yuminiki's Uboa, but I almost want to give an honorary mention to Rex. His face is terrifying, and his poorly defined silhouette coming closer and closer is pretty well done. Alright, so I've talked about it, but I haven't done a good honest-to-God Let's Play in a really long time, so let's play it. Welcome to a weird pseudo-Let's Play. That was a clown. Yes, there's an ASCII art clown that introduces you into the game. So here we are. Here we are in the game. Rex lies in wait, as you can see. And now Rex is hunting for me. And you control it using the 7, 8, and 5 keys, which is really odd. that was their control scheme. I guess that was apparently made more sense on the actual device that this was made for. There really is no sound, all the sort of background stuff. And there we go. That is how a lot of your rounds will end in this game. Okay, see, Rex is... Oh my god. That actually scared me. See, I'm telling you, this game can actually be pretty scary despite how old it is. I gotta find a portal. There we go, and there's a portal. So, here we go. Rex is very angry that I've eluded him. So it is a weird circus thing because of that guy. And then we just move on to the next maze. Oh, he's behind me. I'm literally not exaggerating. I don't know why it gets me so much. But that was Rex. Yep. So that was 3D Monster Maze, the world's first survival horror game. You can play it yourself on a free online emulator in the description. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and suggest what I should cover next on my Twitter. You should also follow me there, because that is where I will be announcing whenever I'm streaming at twitch.tv/SaganHawks. See you all next time.
Hi, I'm Rex from 3D Monster Maze, and I just wanted to say thank you to Audrey and Michael Hawks, Jay Batsby, Spring Bonnie, LK44, and Kit Kat. They're patrons, and I just...